Welcome back to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host, John, back with my bestie, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm tired tonight. My toddler was being a
Oh,
terrorist.
okay. Just
Yeah.
okay. That's it. So he was driving you crazy?
Well, it's just I always, like, laugh at those parent memes that are like, "Why did your toddler melt down today?" And it's, "Oh, because I gave him the blue cup instead of the red cup," or like, "I cut his banana long ways instead of sideways." And I'm always like, "Huh, that sucks." And then I had one of those nights where I was
Right.
like, we came home from the park and his butt was really dirty, and I was like, "I gotta take off your shorts and put on clean shorts," and it was, like, the worst thing. I'm a terrible mom. It's the worst thing I could have ever done to him,
Yeah.
and this is kind of the first time now that we're 2 officially, like, a month into 2, it's really the first time that those big feelings are, like, happening, and to be honest, I think we're handling them well. He's a pretty reasonable kid, but man, it's exhausting.
Well, I hate to say better you than me, but better you than me, Nikki, because
Yeah, it's fair.
I am way past those years. My kids
Been
came
there,
home.
done that.
Yeah, my kids are working and at school and life's great.
There's a learning curve in this stage for everyone, and
I
I'm in
know.
it.
They can change their own pants. That's the real key at their age. They can just change their own
Wow.
pants.
They can
I know.
change your pants pretty soon. That's kinda nice.
We're not that far away from that, if we're being completely honest.
Well,
I'm being nice to both of them because there's no guarantee as to which one's gonna be responsible for my pants changing, but
mm,
anyway,
solid
well,
plan.
we have a fun guest tonight. I love getting my internet friends on here, and tonight we have from the South, the Dirty South is on tonight. The Dirty South, Allison Shiver. Allison, how are you?
Peachy keen, butterbean. I'm a little pissed that my mom cut my banana wrong, but I mean, now
Uh,
it feels small compared to his issue.
I know, right? I know. When Allison logged in, Nikki, we started talking. I forgot she was from the South. I mean, I knew it, but you just like kind of forget those things because you get to know people online. And so I told her my Southern accent will very likely be back before this episode's over. So just
Okay.
fair warning. If I spend longer than 15 minutes around another Southerner, it
Oh,
starts to come out.
it happens. It's the best for all of us. It just yeah. When I
It
call
just
my
creeps
family,
out.
yeah, in Maryland is where my mom's side of the family's from, and when I called my grandma as a kid, she would just get on the phone with my mom and be like, "This is ridiculous. I can't deal with this anymore. She sounds like she's grapes in her mouth." I was like,
Yeah, that's what it's like. That's what the South's like. It's great. I love it. My mom used to call when I'd like first moved up here, and some people would be around me and they're like, they'd just give me that look, like, what are you saying? What happened to your voice? And you don't even think about it. It just happens. You start talking to
yeah.
your parents or whoever, and you instantly start reverting back to Southern language. It's like an entire different country down there, Nikki. We'll have to go sometime.
I
There's
would
some
love to. I would love to eat grits the right way for once.
Mm.
and sweet tea. Do not every time I go travel to the north and I order sweet tea, they bring me iced tea, which is not sweet. And they don't understand what I'm asking for. I'm like, no, you put sugar in it. And they're like, oh no, you can put the sugar. I'm like, no, then it floats around. Yeah, so it's like a whole thing.
You could get it in a few places here. So Chick-fil-A, everybody save your hate. It's a Southern company. So you can get Chick-fil-A does it pretty well.
Okay.
And most of the local barbecue places will do
Oh,
it
that's
well.
fair.
Yeah.
Because
Like
that's
like
part of the culture.
yeah, I mean barbecue's traveled all over the country and I'm gonna make some assumptions it started in the South and worked its way north. And so they do a pretty good job. And but outside of that, you're right. It's not the same. They bring you just tea and you got to add something to it, and it's
And you
not the
have to have
same.
5 pounds of sugar. It's just not worth your time.
Yeah, it needs to raise
You need
your
to get it.
glucose level significantly. You need to get the shakes. That's how sugary it needs to be. Yeah, it's like bulking season when I go home. It's perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. My mom
And
makes
your
some
your
serious
mom
sweet
makes
tea, Nikki.
biscuits and stuff too, right? Isn't that her jam?
Well, actually, no. My dad makes the biscuits.
Okay.
My
Oh,
dad's the
Roy.
breakfast guy. Oh, Roy is the breakfast guy. And my girls, you'll love this, Allison. Like anytime we go home, he's the breakfast guy, and we get up in the morning, and there's bacon and eggs, and, of
Mm,
course, the eggs are cooked in the bacon grease, and
course.
then, of course and so are the hash browns, and somehow there's always enough grease left over to make gravy. I don't know how he gets so much grease out of such little bacon, but he gets a ton of grease out of it,
Hmm.
and biscuits, and it's great, and you get 5,000 calories for breakfast, and you're good till lunch. It's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a little container of bacon grease in your fridge to cook with. I mean, it's not worth living. Like just a little dollop of bacon grease and everything you do makes the world go round.
What, you didn't keep it under the sink in the, like,
That that
little jar, like the Folgers jar or whatever?
No, I mean, I don't cook, so just like the people around me kept it in the fridge. But yeah, I don't cook at all.
like
But
ever?
yeah, no, really. So my breakfast is I do those little Kodiak cake oatmeal cups, and I can't even do that correctly because I never know how much milk to put in my oatmeal. So it's either soup or it's like sandpaper, and there is no in between. I just don't enjoy cooking, and there's just so many things I'd rather be doing. So I'll just make like a big batch of chicken and rice and just eat that all week if I'm in charge of my nutrition.
There you go.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you dislike cooking so much that you have just come to accept that your breakfasts are bad. You're like, that's you know what? It's either one kind of bad or another kind of bad, and I'm here for it one way or another. This is what
I
my
mean, I
mornings
still
are.
breakfast. I feel like that's winning, but
Yeah.
I love this so much. Well, we should explain who Allison is to the audience, because we just started talking like it's about biscuits or whatever. But Allison came on my radar several months ago. We started doing these really funny reels around CrossFit. And I don't even remember now what the reel was. It caught my attention,
mm,
but I shared it
yeah,
and it blew up and everybody loved it. And you went from, I mean, you've been on like a steady trajectory of gathering a ton of followers, which is always fun to see.
yeah.
But for me, more fun, like watching the engagement of you with your audience, which is why I thought it'd be fun to have you on, because there's a lot of crazy shit that happens on your page. And you always do a lot of good clapbacks. And Nikki and I love talking about good clapbacks.
But you have to like just some of the stuff that these people come up with. You're just like, I mean, you could delete it, you could ignore it, but like, where's the fun?
Yeah. So how take us back to the beginning. Like, how did you start developing fun CrossFit content? Because I think a lot of people, I'm asking because I think a lot of people, first of all, love your work and share your stuff because you're so funny and you're so relatable and you're so kind of saying what everybody's thinking, which is why
Mm,
I love your sense of humor. I'm like, she's in my brain. But I think a lot of people like want to do that. So
yeah,
how did you stumble into it and say, hey, this is what I want to do and it actually worked?
yeah. Well, a year ago, my Instagram was private. I had like 1,100 followers, and I was fiddling on TikTok. I stayed away from TikTok for as long as I could. And then finally, I was managing an Anytime Fitness at the time. Like I did CrossFit and I managed CrossFit for forever. But that particular box closed down. So I jumped over to Anytime Fitness and I managed that location for about 3 years. And I started on TikTok just making weird videos, just being weird and got some momentum on there. Then once I left Anytime Fitness and opened my own business, I started to experiment with Instagram Reels because my business is social media marketing. And so I basically took what I was doing on TikTok and started doing it on Instagram. And so I went from 1,100 followers to, I don't know, I'm at 55, whatever, thousand followers on Instagram now. And it's just, I mean, bullshit. It's just like just posting stupid stuff that just like crosses my brain when I'm like driving or I hear a sound or hear a concept. I do coach CrossFit once a week. So my members have like great sense of humor about it. I was already doing the videos when I started coaching at this Fruit box. They were a little weary when I started because they were like, oh, that's that girl. She's going to make videos about us. She's going to make fun of us. But then they realized, oh no, that's pretty true. So
Mhm. It's a lot of work creating content. I don't think people realize like how much first of all, okay, so I own an ad agency and oftentimes I end up in the ads themselves just because oftentimes if I need to make something quickly, I know exactly what I need. I know the lines. I probably wrote the script. So oftentimes and I people send me this shit all the time where they're like, "Is this you in this
yeah.
ad?" And I'm like, "Yes,
And
it
it's
is.
hard
It's
to
one of my
find somebody
clients."
who will get behind camera too. So
Yeah, and finding content creators is like an entire full-time like I literally have someone on staff who does that full time. So it's a big thing. But all that to say like my to-do list always piles up with shit that I need to shoot because rarely do I even wake up and put makeup on anymore. So it's people don't realize the amount of effort that it takes to shoot, think up the stuff for sure, but then shoot the stuff, edit the stuff, get it all timed right. Do if it's to music, that's a whole nother thing. Like it's truly a time suck. And that's not even counting waking up and doing your hair that day. So
Oh, yeah.
how do you manage like the actual job that it is to develop this content when you do in fact have a job?
Well, so my company manages over 40 platforms. So I am just literally on the internet 4 days a week for a good 10 hours. And like I said, just as ideas come to me, I have a whole notes section in my phone, and I just like, I'll even put something obscure. Why is this member wearing one shoe during the workout? Just something weird, or like must focus on double unders, like anger, like aggression, just weird stuff. Or I'll hear a song and it's okay, there's this song by Heart called Alone, and there's this point in the song where she just starts going, "Ah," and so I'm like, use that in something. And then once a week, I just find an hour to go to my CrossFit box and I just batch out as much as I can with what energy I have. And then I just roll it out.
It's you creative people. Like I will never understand because I am not creative. I will never understand that. Like you heard that part of a song and it just stuck with you and something hilarious comes out of it. John, you are like this too, where you will just respond with something that is like so funny, so fast, or
Mhm.
like you see a photo and you can caption it instantly. And I like my brain just does not process. I don't understand how you guys latch on to tiny little things and they're
Like, oh,
exactly what we want to see.
John, you have ADHD, don't you?
Oh yeah, see, Nikki doesn't. That's why she can't
Yeah,
understand.
I think that and I know that's people like, oh, ADHD. It's a real thing. Like I was
Of
one of
course
the
it
people for
is.
years. I was like, oh, that's just made up. You guys feel it. But I was in therapy, believe it or not. And I was going over this incident with my therapist, and he was like, let me put you through a series of tests. So it was like written tests, computer tests. And he found out I was ADHD. And I was like, no, no, no. That's made up. That's just for people that don't know how to concentrate. And he's like, no, it's a real thing. And he sorts of explains chemically how your brain works. And so when we're in the zone, like we're unstoppable. We can create and move and groove
Yeah.
and it's just like pow, pow, pow. But it's like a car with four brakes. Our brain only has two brakes. So we're gonna go and go until we can't anymore. And then it's so yeah, that's why I only batch content once a week. I pick my time where I'm like, because John is like, he figured it out because he's not in his videos. He's really
Thank God.
got
Thank God.
and so when I was coming up with my brand, like I didn't want to copy other people. So my spin on it was I'm always in my videos. I don't ever have just a meme or a video or whatever. I convert myself into it, which is exhausting.
I'm sure.
Yeah, you have the magic formula though. No one believes I swear to God, I've given this formula on air a million times, and you're the first one I think that's actually leaned into it. You do the the two of the things that I say are most important. You do the two most important ones. You make them very relatable
Yeah.
to what people actually do day to day, and you make it edgy enough to piss people off.
There you go.
That's
the part.
and you're not pissing everybody off. You're only
No.
pissing off about 10% of your audience, or in a lot of cases, men on yours, and bitter men, not even all men, which is the real secret. Like if you can
I think
really,
try to not be like a man hater.
yeah, if you can piss off like the clueless men,
Yeah.
because they are out there. I think all men would agree with that. There are,
It
or
really
you know,
takes
except
nothing to
for
piss those people off. You just have to exist.
yeah.
Trolls,
So
and
it's just
you have to learn to stop trying to rationalize or get inside their head to understand, like, why? Why would you put? I had somebody quoting, actually, I think you jumped on there and started talking back to him, quoting
probably.
scriptures to me about how, and it wasn't even my most risque video. It was just something like super basic. And it was just like, I don't even remember. And I was just like, oh man, I mean, All right, cool.
Lol.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think I did. That guy was quoting Leviticus to you, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bro, no." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. No, like, we're gonna start quoting Leviticus. I gotta sell my daughters in slavery, and
You
I
can't
can't
tell them cues.
yeah, I
Right.
can't wear polyester."
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many things I can't do in
No,
Leviticus. Like,
it's
we're not going
those
there.
are rough. Do you get trolls at all? I don't know that I've ever like really looked through
Who,
their
me?
Does
comments.
John get trolls?
Not as many
Like
these
on the
days.
videos themselves. In real life, I'm sure people are just trolling John left and right. Just
It used to be more than it is now. I used to take on more controversial topics than I do these days.
more
Um,
oh.
yeah, well, like, yeah, in the early days of the page, I was leaning into it more than I do now. I probably, admittedly, I think I probably ride a safer road
Mm.
more now than I used to, but not
That's
always.
hard though, especially in cancel culture. Like
Oh, I don't give a rat's ass about cancel culture.
well, I don't want to say I don't give a rat's ass. I it's just a fine line in finding
Yeah,
what you're posting
yeah.
truly offensive or is it offensive to 3 people?
What?
And so go ahead.
That's so funny you say that. I was just talking about this to somebody tonight. Did you guys see this post Lauren Fisher put up?
No. What
You
is
have
it?
not seen this? All right. So I'm going to explain it to you and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
It's a really interesting debate to me. So she had a competition over the weekend. We talked about it on the
She was
weekly
in
dark.
Madrid. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was in California, NorCal.
Oh, she was in the NorCal Classic. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she finished second, I think. She did real well. But apparently she had a workout where she did something dumb. Her words, not mine, I might
Okay.
add. She was supposed to pick up a sandbag and run with it. She like squatted it and dropped it and ran without the sandbag. Right.
Okay.
And so in order to illustrate that she did something dumb, she took a clip from the movie Tropic Thunder, which you can probably see where I'm going with this.
Yes.
And there's a
That
character, let me set up the movie a little bit for anyone who hasn't seen it. The movie's actually pretty good satire on the hypocrisy of Hollywood. And it's kinda like Blazing Saddles in that regard. It's so over the top, it's funny. Like, everything like, they take the most offensive things you can say and just say them all,
Mhm.
right? And so, like, Robert Downey Jr.'s in blackface through the
Yeah.
entire movie.
right.
And it basically showing the hypocrisy of actors, and it's a really interesting dialogue. Well, she takes one clip from the movie where he's in blackface and he it's a very famous line, and I'm not gonna say the full line, but he says, "You never go full R word."
Oh, that was
Right? So she plays that clip where he says that,
uh-huh.
uses the R word, right?
Right.
And then shows the clip where she does what she is self-describing as something
Mhm.
stupid, right? The
Right.
comment section or there's like 400 comments. Like
Yeah.
this thing just like blowing it up. And it's a really interesting debate around cancel culture to me
Mm.
of like how many people find the word offensive, how many people don't find the word
Right.
offensive, how many people are going to let it harm them, how many won't. And in her case, like she doesn't seem to be scared of getting canceled at all because she didn't remove it and she gave like
Right.
kind of a non-apology apology. And
Mhm.
there's a little part of me that kind of respects her for just saying, "Hey, screw it. I'm just going to leave it up and you guys
Yeah.
can deal with it," which is kind of how I feel about my stuff more days than
Mhm.
not. Like I say plenty of offensive things and I'm like, all right, well, you can't please everyone and
Yeah.
and you can't make people always understand what you're trying to say,
Right.
even if it wasn't your intent. Even though I never feel like I'm trying to hurt anyone. I'm not sure I don't think she was trying to hurt
No.
anyone.
Mhm.
But I can certainly see where people would take offense. So it's a really interesting debate around cancel culture, you
I
know?
Yeah.
think there's a big difference between saying something that may inadvertently offend people
Mhm.
and people who like troll or take what you say out of context
Right.
or
Yeah.
whatever. I think that there's a big difference between being introspective and being like, I put something
Yeah.
up that I thought was appropriate. Was it not? Do I need to apologize? Did I inadvertently do something or say something that like hurt
Mhm.
people's feelings in one way, shape, or form and evaluating that situation for what it is? And I feel like that happens like 1 to 2 out of 10 times. I
Right.
feel like 8 to 9 out of 10 times we're talking about people who come in and post scripture on your video. And
Right.
that's just like
And
straight up trolling, straight up
Right.
like, get your ass out of my business, good sir.
well,
Unnecessary.
it's a meme page. It's a But
Right.
this is not the Today Show, okay? Or I don't know, whatever news show you want. This is not where
Yeah.
you come for your serious information. And by the way, it's your algorithm. Okay. So when people start getting offended at what I'm posting, I'm like, baby, your algorithm brought you to me, not the other way around.
Right.
Like you need to start looking at what you're scrolling through.
Right.
But it's yeah, I've had some laughs.
Yeah, what is sort of like the general vibe of the comment sections on your videos?
Well, from men mostly. I really can't even think of a single female that's ever really commented negatively. And it's mostly because I'm for the girls. And I always tell everyone the same thing. If you want to see memes and things making fun of what women do in the gym, make your own page. Like I'm it's not it for me. I'm not gonna make videos making fun of other women. But that's usually what it is it's men arguing or so I have sort of a template of what I post every other it's usually every other post is very CrossFit specific. Instagram is a great platform for CrossFit. TikTok is rough. I don't really know if it's just less people on TikTok that do CrossFit or if it's just TikTok not pushing it across. But if you even go to CrossFit's page on TikTok, like they don't have a huge following. So usually every other video is just more gym specific instead of CrossFit specific. So then you get people on there that are like trying to talk crap about CrossFitters. And they always go for the kipping pull-ups every time.
Always.
And I'm
Always.
like, you guys are really gonna die on this hill, aren't you?
You had
So that's
one you had one where I can't remember the specifics of the video, but I remember all the men losing their shit because it was something along the lines of men staring at you in the gym. That was the punchline. It was like getting looked at doing what you're doing. And man, men lost their minds on this video. And that was the best part for me was reading the comments. It wasn't it
oh yeah,
wasn't so much.
very
I mean, don't get me wrong, your content was fine, but the
Mhm.
comments were priceless. It was
Yeah.
just epic.
I've only ever had to turn comments off of one video, and that's just because I don't care. Like I don't even you get so many notifications a day, like you don't read everything. Right. And I don't really even go and scroll. And my friends know if they see something, they'll screenshot it and send it to me. But it was a video I made about coaches, not even necessarily CrossFit, because like I said, I've coached different, types of fitness.
Yes. I
And
remember now.
the whole the whole point of the video was ask permission before you put your hands on somebody. That was it. It was as a coach, if you are working one-on-one with someone, you need to ask them if it's like the first time, can I place my hands on your lower back? Can I adjust you? Because there was an experience that I witnessed where a male coach went up to a female that was working out on her own, not with the coach. She was trying to do pull-ups and he basically like put his hands on her stomach and her back and lifted her up and she freaked out. And I pulled him aside because this was a gym I was managing and I was like, let's talk about how to do that differently. And so this was one of the very rare occasions where it was a non-humorous video. It was just me basically stating male or female as a coach or trainer, ask a free time. And the comments, like just the sheer volume of men was overwhelming. And it started to make me sick mentally because I was like, I don't want to deal with this. So I turned, but it was just about women. Women always want to be the victim. Women always, you're just trying to make a situation that's not even there. Women, 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 women. And every female was commenting on the videos. Yes, thank you. And then it's like, how many men are triggered? Because I simply said you need to ask permission before you touch someone.
Mhm.
It was insane. So I'm just turned off.
That is the definition of an internet garbage fire.
It
Truly,
really
it makes no sense. It seems pretty cut and dry and black and white to me. Yeah, everyone should ask permission before they touch anybody all the time, trainer or other scenario.
exactly.
Seems
That was
fair.
not the video I thought I would have to turn comments off on. There was one video where I was like, when you live in the South and you don't go to church, and I was literally like pretending that somebody was throwing holy water on me and trying to exorcise the demon out of me. And that one got like one bad comment, and the rest, like, so I was very, it was very funny that that was the
Wow,
comment.
that's so interesting.
I think oftentimes these things escalate though, because you get like one or two good comments are the things that
Yeah,
trigger the others. It isn't the
Mhm.
content themselves as much as it is the one or two comments
right.
that escalate it and make it worse than it was. Because when we say it out loud of going, "Oh, you shouldn't touch someone without permission," I think any reasonable person goes, "Oh, that makes sense. Like, why would I? Why would I touch someone
Right.
without permission?"
Mm.
But at the same time, then you get one person come in and give a different version of their version of events,
Mhm.
and it becomes a much different argument.
Yeah.
And then everybody starts piling on. And then that's where it gets crazy. That was where this whole thing with Lauren's video that was so interesting to me. It wasn't her post. You can
Mm.
decide whether you think it's offensive or not. It was all of the comments
Yeah.
Right.
and the little infighting that then starts splintering off into things that have nothing to do with the
Right.
content
That
itself.
yeah.
It's insane. It's really insane.
I love that your page is for the girls because I think that it is first of all, it's fun, funny, and a safe space to
Mm.
just make jokes that hopefully are not particularly offensive, but just
Right.
are hilarious because they're relatable to experiences in our everyday lives. And
Mm.
also because you can be for the girls without being anti the boys
Right.
too. And that's not it's not to say that all the men suck and all the men are the problem and all that, which in you know what, neither here nor there. But it's just a funny way to just make a side of the content that is really
Yeah.
specific to you and your experiences and your page. And to John's point, it's like those trolls are going to come in and
Yeah.
boost your algorithm. So, like, welcome, good sirs,
Absolutely.
please.
Continue.
Yeah.
But typically, I mean, most gym comedy, gym meme pages that I've come across are male led pages. And that's not to say that that structures how they roll out their content, but I don't know many meme specific pages, not necessarily that people don't make funny videos or use sound bites, but meme specific pages that are female led. Um, so I'm gonna use that opportunity to talk about camel toe. And I feel like that's my business and no one else's. I'm gonna talk about boob sweat and being in the gym and dudes like coming up and saying weird stuff to you because that's real life. It's what happens. And
Those are the ones that always make me laugh, by the way, because she's always in your story. You'll be in tights, and you'll have the cat emoji, the little kitty
yeah,
emoji, and it'll be like appropriately placed so you can't see anything. And I don't know why it always makes me laugh, but I always laugh when I see it every time. Like it's just
It's
I
real
always funny.
life.
I
That's real
hate
It's
taking
life.
always funny.
pictures of myself. So if I take a picture and it just happens to be very aggressively camel toed, I'm just gonna lightly layer a small little sticker over it, go about my life.
I think
Always funny though.
you gotta do what you need to do to feel good. If that's a filter, so be it. If that's a
Yeah,
cat emoji over your moose
that's what
knuckle,
I
so
do.
be it.
I did a whole photo shoot with a photographer one time. Bless his heart. Yes, that's a Southern saying.
Yep.
I got all of the photos back and I was wearing these like orange Gymshark leggings. And it was just, I mean, she was just chatting away down there. There wasn't a single photo he sent me that it wasn't just, "Ah." So I used that opportunity to layer text over it. Things like, if John Wayne Gacy can be married, there's still a chance that you can get married, or just
Right.
something, some random weird stuff.
Now I feel like a loser now. Man.
Yes. Used it to like, make up some funny stuff and just I still posted the photos, but they just had like text over them.
Do you feel like your content is changing now that you're growing at say, I mean, you're growing at a really rapid pace. Do you feel any different obligation than you did when you started? Or are you planning to get more aggressive? Like any thoughts around it?
It's honestly, again, because I put myself in each video and I put a part of myself and I'm having to act out different things. I have to be in a good headspace. And I did not start this out at all with the idea that it was going to become what it has. But I just want to make people laugh. That's literally, I just want to make people laugh. When people talk to me about sponsorships and ambassadors and Don Connect, and I'm just like, I just want to make my videos. But it's a lot of pressure, honestly. The bigger you get, the more pressure to make the next funny video. And then when one video doesn't, that you worked really hard on, gets like half the views of one that took literally 30 seconds to film, you really start getting in your head about it. So I've had to create boundaries for myself where I don't force myself. I mean, when I first started gaining momentum, I was forcing myself to go to my CrossFit gym for hours to make content. And I was fucking miserable. I was like, I can't do this anymore. What do you want from me? And it was like, if I have it in me, I have it in me. And it's, I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
There's no rhyme or reason as to what people like, Allison. You
It's
can't like
not.
I've talked about it before. John Mayer has a clip out there. If I find it, I'll send it to you. But he talks about this like in songwriting. He'll write the most complex, like amazing song that's really creative and exciting for him, and it won't sell at all. And then he'll write a song that's got 3 chords and sell 10 million copies. There's no rhyme or reason as to what the general public likes. And just make for you and just enjoy it. And if they happen to like something, you kind of figure that out as it goes. I mean, there are always like some things you figure out, all right, this hits every time.
Well, I mean, you have to like look at the length of your videos. I tell people all the time, clients and other content creators I've engaged with, you need to have a hook on your video. You need to have, don't
Yeah.
just have you standing there. Like, you have to have some sort of explanation to get them to stop scrolling. And don't be so niche specific. Like, it's like this pool of people. Like, we're not going to talk about a female over 50 in the 8:30 a.m. class trying to do double unders. Like, that's, you're going to get like 10 people.
Right.
So trying to make content that is funny, something I enjoy, but also that the majority would enjoy too.
I think it's really interesting hearing you talk about almost it not being fun for you anymore when you have that kind of pressure on yourself and when you feel the need to perform or to get very specific like KPIs on your content like it's funny because you never know what people are going through and obviously from the outside looking in an account like yours Allison or John even an account like yours it's like you guys seem like the happy-go-lucky people who are just always laughing, always having a good time, like always just throwing a funny quip out there real quick. And it's interesting to hear, oh, we're creative, but we have ADHD or we burn out after comment wars are happening on our page, or it's just you never really know what's going on behind the scenes, even with like really funny accounts that I don't know, maybe we take for granted by consuming your content, both of you. It's oh yeah, like they maybe had to go through some shit to get this done.
Oh,
And
yeah. You have to go through trauma, and
yeah.
be an ugly child also helps. John,
Hmm.
are you an ugly child? I feel like,
No, I'm the only boy. I'm a middle child, and I was the only good child.
well, being the
So
middle child and good child.
I
Is
hope
that
my
trauma
mom.
in and of itself?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope,
I'm a middle child, so yes.
I hope
Same
my
here.
mom listens to this, and she's gonna tell both my sisters I said I was the only good child. It's gonna be great.
I feel like we're developing the formula for
Were you
a
homeschooled, John?
satire CrossFit page.
Was I homeschooled? No, no, no,
See,
no.
I one up to you. Yeah, no, I was
Oh.
raised in an extremely religious household. So we didn't
Oh.
celebrate holidays. We didn't do birthdays. We only associated with people within the same organization. So it's completely cut off, not cut off from the outside world, but I didn't do sports. I went to middle school and then we got pulled out of school for high school. So you just learn to, and
I lost her again. Should be back. Give it a second. That damn southern internet, Nikki.
I was gonna say it's not like she's in Canada. What?
Well, she's on the Georgia Alabama line. Maybe they're pouting since Alabama lost over the weekend. That could be
Oh,
it.
Georgia Bama.
Oh,
Got it. Oh,
she's
you
back.
back. She back.
Brad,
You're back. Yeah,
what? Where did I leave off? Because I just said some like heartfelt stuff, and I feel like
Oh,
I think
I just
I
revealed the
no.
secrets of my success, and you missed it.
Oh, the
I
internet
know.
forced
I,
us
I
to
gave
miss it.
you a link to my OnlyFans. I gave you so much information, and I guess
No.
I'll put that in the show notes for
yeah.
everyone. We lost you right after you were talking about not celebrating birthdays and holidays and
Oh yeah. So being raised super religious, and you were homeschooled, and you were the middle child, you learned to be funny. You learn to. When I was not a cute kid, I had somebody come up to me during my mom married my stepdad, and was like, "You're a homely little thing," and I thought it was a compliment. I was like, "Oh yeah."
like that. Like, thank you.
And then as an adult, I was like, "Wait, that's super mean. Why would somebody say that to a child?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Have you found as you've been interact you interact with so many people online, I'm sure your DMs are ridiculous too. Are you finding that any of your opinions are changing? Any of your like viewpoints as you meet more people? Or are you getting more grounded in what you believed before?
What do you mean specifically?
I
In
don't
general, what?
I don't know. Like I feel like the more controversial topics I take on, the more debate that comes around it. And then you people usually go when you have debate, healthy or otherwise, you usually go one or two ways. You either get firmly grounded in your beliefs, or you start to listen to other people and go, "Huh, maybe I'm not right about everything," and you
Yeah.
start to sway a little bit.
I'm a pretty stubborn person. I'm also a control freak. So I like to have things neatly in their boxes. I love routine. I love routine. Oh, it just gives me you feel it in your jellies when you can like check something off your list at a certain time. Mm. But I've found just talking with people and engaging with people, our minds work differently. So it's not really about who's right or wrong in certain topics. There's some topics that are like, no, sorry. But for the most part, we think differently. So to sit there and argue with someone for an opinion is just not worth my time. And I honestly don't really even engage in it. It's just like, cool. You believe what you want to believe. I'm very much of that nature, that it's okay to let people live their life and not agree with it and just be quiet.
I like that, except I don't know how to be quiet.
Right.
I can try everything else. I am trying to let people live their life. That's good. That's really good advice.
That is good advice.
Yeah, let people live their life. I've been thinking that more and more lately. I think I had moments early on in my kind of internet journey, whatever the hell you want to call it, of all right, I'm going to defend those that can't defend
Yeah.
themselves. And now I'm like, fuck that.
I
Unless
really
it's Nikki. Well, I know. I just mean let people live their lives. Like I don't need to tell somebody to change the way they think or what they do. Like
and
it's
90% of the time you're just wasting your breath.
Yeah, they won't anyway.
it doesn't mean I won't speak up for what I believe in. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
yeah,
Like, I'm
no.
not like if there's something I firmly believe in, I'm gonna speak up about it. But
Mhm.
I don't want I say plenty of offensive things. So it's hard for me to sit out here
I
and go, okay,
know you
well,
keep saying that, but, like, I can't think of anything. I mean, that it might just be my work brain, but I can't think of a single thing I've seen you post, like, where I was just like, "Oh, that was a little
I don't
risky."
know if it's so much
I mean,
about
other than
posting
you,
as
like,
much.
trolling people in this CrossFit community, like, that are involved in stuff, which I think is hilarious, but,
Well, I
but
mean,
then that's, what was that one you posted with Danny? And
oh yeah, recently people
Fluffy
lost their
Oh, yeah.
yeah, people didn't like that one.
but I
That was
understood what you meant by that, so that
Same.
might be where, because I think we know your sense of humor.
well, that was Fluffy's joke, not mine. And I was just trying to improve upon his joke for whatever that's
Right.
worth. People took this, so that was the one where it was Danny, who looked hot as hell, by the way. That's why I was mostly freaked out that people thought I was making fun of her because she looked spectacular
Right.
as always.
Yeah.
And I sent it to her before I posted it for the
Yeah.
record.
Well, you're
Um,
not the person that would body shame anyone.
yeah,
Never. Oh my
Ever.
god.
I
and
think, yeah, I think
and
people.
and Josh, who just looked goofy. So people took that They're both wearing bikinis. If you haven't seen it, they're both wearing bikinis. Josh is wearing the same bikini as Danny. She looks hot. He looks like a goofball. That's his shtick, right? And so I posted it with that classic office meme with the two photos side by side, and it says corporate says these are the same picture or whatever the joke is.
Yeah.
And people thought a lot of people took that as the commentary was I was saying women are too muscular.
No.
And
that was such a stretch for me. I was like, how did anybody arrive
I mean,
there?
that can't be anyone that's been following you for a while because I think
well,
everyone knows that, especially seeing how you take up for certain failings in the CrossFit world, like people and things. I would never ever see you making fun of a person like that.
well, maybe, but if you take it back to what we were talking about for you earlier with men coming in about inappropriately touching women, I'm sure there are plenty of women in the space that have been
You,
compared to men's physiques
All
and
of us.
are very sensitive to it, and
All
any
of
joke
us.
that even gets close to the line makes them want to
that's
blow it
true.
up. So it's so
Yeah.
like where you have so when men are coming into yours and doing it and blowing you up, I'm not saying that all of those men are jerks. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm sure there are some in there that have been falsely accused or have been people have just grilled them on it and they didn't feel they deserved it. And so now they're
Mhm.
sensitive to it. And I'm sure in the joke I made, there were plenty of females that had the same experience. And so I
That's
get
fair.
that. I didn't view that as an offensive joke for whatever that's worth, but I can certainly see where some did. I did. That was certainly a moment where I'm like, not apologizing, not taking it down. Like
Mhm.
there was no intent.
Yeah.
Sorry, you don't get the punchline. Not all jokes are for you.
Right.
They're just not. When I say offensive things, like Nikki and I cuss a lot on this show. Like I'm
Mhm.
not going to censor who I am
Right.
to capture the conservative Christian audience. Like I mean, I use them specifically because
We've
you
had
know,
emails.
I've had emails like people message me and go, okay, you got to quit cussing. I want my kids to listen. I'm like, the show's not for your
Oh yeah.
kids.
No.
I'm like, the show's not for your kids. Like
Yeah.
I appreciate that people want to listen. I really do.
Yeah.
And I I feel bad if people think, oh, Wooly's an egomaniac over this and won't make changes because I asked. But this show's a passion project. We don't really make money on it. It's just we do it because we love the community. We love hearing people's stories and talking
Right.
about it. And you know what? I can't keep Nikki from cursing, so I'm not even going to try at this point.
We've
Eh,
tried. He
We
has
try.
tried.
It's
Yeah.
not even
It's smart.
possible.
It just means you're passionate and you mean what you
Yeah.
say.
I don't know. It's just who I am. Like I've not found issues in my life where I swear at inappropriate times and it ruins situations or makes people feel uncomfortable. Like if we have a guest on the show who I know feels particularly uncomfortable around cursing, then I'll reel it in. I don't curse on the broadcast. Imagine that. But this is our show and this is who
Yeah.
we are. And the reason that we put this show together is to be ourselves and to infuse
Right.
our personality into the things that we do. And so I
Well,
never
that's
thought it
what
was an
people
issue.
do.
And so when one random person emails us being like, "Hey, I don't like this, you should change it." To me, what I hear is like a really unfair sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
That's that I don't appreciate. But for the record, I don't think that guy was being really particularly rude about it. He was just kind of
Mhm.
like, "I wish you wouldn't." And I'm like,
Well, I've had
sorry."
others. My point is I think I've learned you just can't please everyone, and like there's
Yeah,
something that I don't even find offensive that I know other people do.
Right.
right.
Right? There are words I say I'm sure my mom finds offensive, and so it's hard for
Right.
me to sit there and go, "Well, you can't say
Oh,
that
let's get on
word."
topic of moms.
Yeah, it's
Mm, the
well,
worst.
I don't know. There's just been this whole debate I mentioned earlier around what that post that Lauren made, what you can
Right.
and can't say, and I'm like, it's her private page. Like, she wants to say whatever
Right.
she wants to say or post, let her say it. Like it's her world because I'm saying things that I'm not using that word. Like I personally don't like the word. I'm not going to use it.
Right.
But I am going to say other words that people are going to find offensive. I curse a lot. I put them in memes a lot. Like I make some jokes that really kind of tiptoe down the line of appropriateness, and some people like them, some don't. Like it's showbiz.
I think I think the balance of it is just trying to live an unbothered existence in that you have every right to speak your mind and post what you like and post what you think it's funny, you have every right, but people also have every right to comment and be offended. They're offended, and it just keeps going. So really, it's just once you realize, like I said, just let people live their life. You can just completely live it. And that's my number one goal is to be unbothered, to just be happy, laugh, make the kind of content, but I don't get caught up in all the other crap.
Have you ever done the unbothered journal?
Now,
Oh god. It's what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. I'll find it and send it to you afterwards. When I first was postpartum, I had a lot of postpartum anxiety. I tried journaling, which I'm kind of shit at, but I found 2 workbooks that I really like that I keep in my nightstand, that I was religious about for a few months after I had Hunter. And every so often, if I'm just like having a really stressful day, I'll pull them out. They have prompts because I can't just like, write. I'm not one of those like prolific writer people, but if I have a prompt that's what did you do today or what would make tomorrow awesome or draw a line from this word to this word that you feel particularly connected to, then I can get a few ideas and emotions out and I feel a little bit less anxious. And one of the workbooks is all about being unbothered. That's like the whole point of it. I'm gonna send you the link.
yeah, that's literally been my journey for the last 8 months is just finding, and you find like, the more you become fulfilled and okay with who you are and your life, the less friends.
Hmm.
And for instance, myself, I'm 36 years old. I'll be 37 next month. Scorpio. What? I don't actually like,
A Scorpio would say that.
I know. My best friend says the same thing. Uh, but no kids. I don't have children. I live in a military town, so it's the pool of friends is already pretty small. But you become okay with having 2 or 3 really good close friends because your energy just goes out the window when you're around people that aren't fulfilled, that aren't happy with their life, because then it's just a constant bitch fest of just
Yeah.
everything. And you're just like, so that's just like the last 8 months has been my journey in my real life and online is to just be okay with who I am and be happy and just let other people sort their shit out.
That's a journey, man. That's really hard. And it changes on a daily, right? You could be at a really good clip and then all of a sudden something happens that bothers you or gets under your skin in one way, shape, or form. And you're kind of like one step forward, 2 steps back. But I take a lot of cues from John in that respect. And I think I'm in a really good place now where it's one thing to know that there's content for you and content not for you. And like, I'm gonna say something that's offensive, and then someone's gonna say something else that's offensive and getting you that's like, I understand that fundamentally. I think it's another thing entirely when people, like, go after you specifically,
Mhm.
and that's the kinda thing that I'm finally in a place where I'm like, "You know what? If I say something great, I'm sure someone's gonna say something about it. If I say something terrible, I'm sure someone's gonna say something about it." So there's really no point in getting worked up one way or another. You're like setting yourself up for failure. You kind of just have to let people do their thing and be like, Anyway."
Well, then the way you look, like when they can't
Yeah.
bother you on a psychological or
Yeah.
mental level, then like I had one video, I've had several videos go viral. And honestly, I don't like it. I don't like when videos go viral because that's when the real like scum of the earth surface. But there was this one video I did, and my hair was like slicked back. And I have a very specific nose. Like I have a very like little tiny like pug nose. It runs in my family. It's genetic.
I also have a
Um,
very specific nose. So I
it's just
feel
a
you,
very
girl.
like
Oh my God. Remind me to go back to the topic of noses after this conversation. Keep
Okay.
going. Keep going.
All
Keep
right,
going.
keep going.
and so one guy popped on there and he was like, "Why does this chick look like Michael Jackson?" And I was like, "Well, that's odd." But then other people kept saying, "Why does this chick look like Michael Jackson?" And I kid you not, I will send you guys a photo. I Googled Michael Jackson with his hair slicked back and did a side by side. And it was like we were twins. With very specific nose. Um, but then you just learn to laugh. Like you learn to
Yes.
laugh. Like the one guy that commented the other day, why is your face not moving? Your eyebrows and nothing moves. And I'm just like, I'm a pod person. like I'm not a real human being.
Mm,
When in actuality, it's Botox, fucker. Like it's
Yeah.
just
yeah.
my face isn't mobile. But it's hard too as a female. Well, I'm not gonna say as a female. When you
It's
do
hard
what
as
you
anyone. Yeah.
is to you can't get caught up in how you look. Like you cannot care because you'll tear yourself apart every time you get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Every time. And so, all right, noses. Go.
Yeah,
Oh
let's talk
my
about
God.
Nikki's nose. Nikki's nose. Let's go. Let's
I
do it.
gotta tell you, I gotta read you this message that I got. I could not make this shit up. Hold on. It's in my message requests on Instagram.
Oh,
Oh, those are
Yeah.
always the best ones that are like
I know.
three folders deep.
Oh no, where did it go? Do they delete themselves after a while?
they shouldn't just paraphrase it. Just give
Okay.
me the gist.
Okay, I couldn't make this shit up. That's why I wanted to read it out loud. It was someone who messaged me from like a nose fan account. Like
love it already.
an Instagram account made specifically for people who love noses of
Wiki
like
nose.
varying shapes and sizes. It
I
was
mean,
like,
that's a win.
I mean, I low key wanted because she was like, and the message was very much, hello, you have a beautiful facial structure, and I would love very much to feature this picture and this nose on our page. And I wish I had it. It's straight. I must have deleted it. It's straight up not
Oh
in
my
my
Lord.
message request anymore because the page name was also hilarious. It was like noses from heaven or something
Oh my God.
funny. And I almost said yes, and I read it out loud to Matt, and he was like, please
I
don't
dare
respond to
say-
that person.
I get maybe a little less rhinoplasty next time. And I'm like, look, do you think if I paid somebody to do your nose job, it would look like this? No, I wouldn't look. I don't choose insert plug face to cart. That's not what I'm saying. So,
Well, I usually get the opposite, which is, has anyone ever told you that you can get a nose job? Not can we
so
include you
rude.
in
No, it's-
noses from heaven because we love your nose. And I was like, low key, I was like, Matt, these people love my nose. Should I let them? And he was like, stop it. This is like foot porn, but for nose people. Please delete this
You know,
message.
like, you do what makes you feel good. If you need them to share that picture of your nose, do it. You only live.
I had to take Matt's advice because the last time I got conned into sending foot pics to someone,
Yeah.
it was like, he was like, if you had just run this by me, I would have told you it was a bad idea.
How
And
is
I
that?
was
You know
like,
what? That's another conversation.
it's a whole thing. It's a whole
I-
thing.
I think you should go on Nose Hub, Nikki. I think you should. do
Nose
it.
Hub?
It'd be great. Yeah, it'd
I
be
don't
great.
remember what it's called. I really think it was Noses from Heaven, but now I don't see it anywhere.
Oh my Lord.
Oh my gosh. No,
And I'm
people are
sad
crazy.
about
I
it.
had somebody message me and ask, so they would pay me if I sent them a bag of poop. And I was like,
All right. First of all, I have an entire kitty litter box full.
That's
Give me
the
the
thing, like-
address.
how much you willing to pay? Because it doesn't
What
have-
did you ask?
No, this was back when I had like morals and
Oh, I would
Like-
shit in a bag if someone paid me enough
I
money. Are you
mean,
kidding me? That's what you want? Let's
Yeah.
go. Are you
All right.
kidding?
Before we get any deeper in this conversation,
Sorry.
please DM Nikki directly. Do not send it to the Kettlebells and Cocktails Instagram page because I run that and I don't want to have to filter through it. Like,
Also, it's
don't wanna be doing that.
$1,000 a bag minimum. So if you don't have that kind of cold hard cash, do not even bother DMing me.
just saying,
do
like, make your paper, do what you got to do. No judgment.
It's
I
pretty
am
impressive.
dying to know if that person was serious.
of course they were.
Messaging.
Of course they were, Nikki. It's the World Wide Web is bizarre. Like,
Wide web.
Mm.
there's so much weirdness out there. Like you can't even wrap your mind around
I know.
everyone else's kinks.
I
you
know. It's true. And I'm not here to kink shame anyone, whether it be bags of poop or noses from heaven. I'm really not. I just don't get, to be honest, I don't get a lot of it. My following is small and really genuine. So for the most part, I don't get a ton of the trolls and times that John has had to step in and defend my honor have been like, I can count the instances on one hand. And then when it comes to other people making content, like, I just don't pay attention. John has to text me being like, there's drama over here. You need to go see it because he knows that I'm not seeing it. So
Does it make either of you
numbers, like-
wonder?
Text you when somebody's going on my feed. Just let you.
I'm all in. Does any of this make you guys ever wonder that any of your past significant others only loved you for your nose? Maybe they had a nose kink and you didn't even know it,
I mean, I've
never
been,
thought about it.
I've
right?
previous marriages. No, definitely
Do you,
not.
do you
I mean,
think there's like
maybe,
a shrine to my nose out there somewhere?
I hope so.
maybe,
I hope so
It's
maybe.
not
too.
worth living if there's not. I am personally very attracted to your nose. Yeah,
Thank
all
you.
jokes, like I think absolutely
It
stunning.
may be straight from heaven.
Maybe.
It may be.
Allison has exes that are out there going, I used to date a member of the Jackson 5, and you don't even know it.
Hundred
You don't
percent,
even
100%. My last ex-husband talks shit about me, guys. 'Cause the funny is, that's actually one of the benefits of growing a following and getting bigger is all the people that have blocked, like the truly shitty people that have blocked you. People are showing them my videos.
The revenge videos.
Here's the best moment of my life. Now I have a good relationship with my
Yeah, you
ex-wife,
do.
and they're and our daughters, obviously.
Yeah.
But her and her new husband went to Mexico for some, I don't know, just vacation. And they're down there and they're at a pool or somewhere drinking, hanging out, and they meet a couple of CrossFitters and they start talking. And my ex goes, "Oh yeah, my ex-husband is into CrossFit. He kind of does some all she says is he kind of does some influencing in the CrossFit space." And the guy, without even blinking, goes, "Oh my God, does he make what's great again?"
Oh my God,
Just like
shut
that.
up.
No, I
Shut
guess
up.
they had told him they're from Ohio, and like people know him from Ohio.
Yeah,
So like, how
yeah,
many
yeah.
Just
people
a
are
true follower that they could take that little bit of information
right?
and just
It blew her mind though, like completely blew her mind, and I loved it so much. I'm like, that's the best.
it
I
makes
love
it
that she
really
described you as doing a little bit of influencing.
here.
Well,
John
first of all, I
Rich-
don't think I do any influencing. Like, I hate that term. I don't think you
I
do
hate
influencing.
that term. It's the worst.
Here's what influencers do. Influencers go, "Hey, buy this barbell, buy this whatever," and I do some ads, but I don't put
I was
myself
going to
in
say, I
there.
think it's because, I mean, that's what you are influencing people. Influencers get paid. So even though it's a sucky word, you are.
Yeah, but I don't. All right, I'll buy that. I mean, I guess I could say
Not the
I
classic
influ
first trap influencer with your ass hanging out.
oh, I
It's
do
like,
that.
oh,
I do
I'm
that all the time. Yeah,
Maybe
all
you
the time.
should.
Maybe I should do that.
You know why I don't like that term for you guys is because it's not the main thing that you do. Yes, I think you should capitalize on your following and earn some cash because everybody's got to eat. Please do some influencing. But I know that the majority of your brain power and your effort goes into developing your content. And so it almost feels a little bit offensive being like you're an influencer and not a content creator
Mhm.
first because I know how much effort you put in. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah, yeah.
actually really funny. John was the first person I had my very first. It was actually Anytime Fitness, like Courtly, Anytime Fitness, the corporate reached out to me about an influencer program. They wanted to pay me to do videos and stuff. And at that point, I'd only been approached by like smaller companies. And to me, like a company approaching me and saying, "Hey, we want you." I had one company, a pretty big one, say, "Okay, we want you to make us one video a week and one story slide a week that we can post on our page. You
Mm.
can't post it on your page. And in exchange, we'll give you 15% off of our products."
What?
That's an absolute waste of my time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I told them such. I was like, anyways, it's a whole other conversation. But Anytime Fitness was like the first real company that I had already had a relationship with, a history with. But I felt guilty. I was like, I don't, it feels weird taking money to make content. And I actually reached out to John and was like, I need advice. This feels really uncomfortable. And he
Mm.
was just, get over it. That's fine. It's so you gotta make a living. You gotta, as long as you, but if he says, as long as you believe in what
That
you're in supporting, then
that.
it's fine.
And we've always felt that way too. And we don't have a ton of sponsors or people who really prop up the show, but we're happy to take on podcast sponsors if and when we believe in the product and the brand and that they're good people and that they're on a good mission. And I even do the same thing at the agency. Like I said in the beginning of the show, like sometimes I'll put myself in the ads, but only when it's real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna sit there and make up that I tried something or did something. Like, if I feel well enough about the thing to put my face on it, then I'll also help the brand that I'm, like, legitimately working with on contract. I get a lot of questions about that with the CGM that I wore because 'cause I'm in a bunch of ads wearing a CGM for a brand called NutriSense, and people are like, "Did you really do this?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah. Wore that thing for months." All the data that's in the ads that I'm on is actually mine. I'm not gonna lie about that kinda thing, but
Well, there's a lot of
yeah.
companies that just don't understand how that side of social media works. They don't understand that when you approach somebody that has a following and you want them to promote your products, there's certain steps in place because that sort of system is still relatively new for most people.
Yeah.
Because even
Yeah.
though they have a company and they sell certain products or services or whatever, doesn't mean that they're savvy to influencer programs or stuff like that. So it's interesting.
There's also no benchmark yet in that very, very gray area of influencer marketing. There is absolutely no best practice when it comes to someone with 50K followers typically charges X amount versus someone with 100 follow. I mean, and like I said, I have a girl full time on my staff who does this, and we really pride ourselves on treating people with respect and giving them the money that they deserve for making content. But that's a hard sell, and oftentimes our budgets are small, so we're reaching out to micro influencers. But I cannot even tell you, sometimes there's someone with 100 followers who's, "Oh, I can't make that ad unless you pay me 2 grand." And I'm like, "Really?"
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes there's people with 100,000 followers who's, "I'll take $200 and a little bit of product because I really like you guys." And there's no benchmark, there's no best practice. But even trying to navigate those waters is such a new way of developing marketing content
Mhm.
that it's hard to figure out who needs what. To me, it's always really important that people feel their value. And whenever you undervalue or undermine someone for do like that's when you're starting to enter some shitty territory where
Right.
nobody feels good about that.
It's all tough. I I don't know. People throw the influencer word around all the time to me, and I'm like, when I sell something, I use it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
kind of
Exactly.
exactly.
or I really believe in it. Like I've grilled the owner about what they do and understand their product enough, even if I'm like I have a nutrition company I work with, and
Right.
I don't personally use their nutrition services, but I
But
know
you're
a
very
bunch.
honest about that, I've seen.
Yeah, and I know a bunch of people who do use it. Like I
Right.
personally know them. Like I'm friends with them, and I've
Right.
seen their results, and I know, and I've talked to them about their program and how it works and what they're charging,
Yeah.
and I feel good about it. Like somebody actually came, you'll love this, Allison. Somebody actually came in the comments. I posted a meme they didn't like, and their response was, "Go back to hawking nutrition companies or something. Go back to posting your nutrition companies." And I'm like, "Hey, look, it's paying for Megan's college, so okay."
I mean, it's your page. You get to do what you want.
Well, it's just funny. So I don't I
I
don't
just
know.
started working
You
with
can't please everyone.
an apparel company. And I've been approached by a couple different apparel companies, but this one was someone that I actually already bought from and purchased and loved. And it's been great. It's been an absolute fantastic relationship. And I'll definitely keep working with them. But yeah, it's tough.
What's the weirdest thing you've had to turn down so far? Have you turned down anything?
No, I've turned down plenty. Actually, and I know she says that modestly.
Yeah.
You just get I get a lot of supplement companies. I get
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of supplement companies, and I tell them all the same thing, and it's my best kept secret. I don't use supplements.
Yeah, me.
I don't take like creatine and all these jacked up supplements, and I don't use protein powder. If I have to do a shake, I do one of those pre-made like I
Right.
don't, and so unless I'm approached by a supplement company that has products I would actually use, it's not worth my time. And most of them, it's the same deal. It's 15% off if you're
Right.
that's not even a thing. The only people that are actually following through with that are people who want the clout. So people with 3,000 followers that want to be like, I'm the brand ambassador for blah, blah, blah. But recently, I still may reach out to them. The company is called PP Pillow.
I love the name.
But it's
I'm
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 here for this.
I'm loving to see where
a,
this goes.
it's a plush penis pillow.
Yes.
Yes.
With a face. So it's got like this little happy face, and it's just it's plush. And they're like,
Hold on, I
"Hey,
have to Google it.
if we send you this pillow, will you use it in your content?" And I was like, I mean, no, not at this time, but I'm actually low key regretting that because I feel like there's a lot. But then there and again, that's a penis that you are now putting
Oh my God.
in your
But
video.
it is so cute.
Right, but I feel like I can make it work because he has such a happy face. He's a very happy penis.
Oh my
but I
God,
think-
he's so cute. I love him.
Are you looking it up now?
yeah. So I may reach back out to them and be like, all right, we'll give this a shot.
Wow. Well, you just gave him a
I
free
think
plug
we
on our
should.
show, so that's
I know.
good. Good. We should put them in the show notes.
I know.
On those lines, I had a sex toy company reach out and try to get me down. I'm like, what part of my meme page do you think just screams butt plugs? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
I
had
mean-
camel toe companies like reach out to me and be like, hey, we want to send you this contraption that you put down your pants and it makes everything smooth. And I'm like, no, I'm not ashamed of my camel toe. I just like to talk about it a lot.
I had a company once reach out and ask for a partnership, and they make like a Kegel device, and you put it up your vagine, and it's a game, and it attaches Bluetooth to an app on your phone. And I imagine, I never really looked into it, but I imagine it's kind of like Angry Birds. And like when you squeeze the character comes up or pulls back or something, like you
Right.
got the fish game on the rower.
Yeah.
That
It's
vibe where
great
like
that
you
wanna play
squeeze.
somebody else's game. I'd be like the one be like, hey, just put this in. Let's see how many rounds I can win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was one that I never responded to.
That
And
down.
I did. I know.
All right, you have to
Mhm.
reach out to them, and I'm going to reach out to the pillow people, and we're going to mime something special.
Also, one time, actually more than one time, because when you don't respond, they just come right back into your inbox.
Yeah.
Straight up got solicited by OnlyFans.
Yes.
Did I
Do
ever
it.
tell you this, John?
I'm
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like-
yeah, you told me once.
Like,
Yeah, they were like,
Right.
because
Yeah,
I
you-
just am not convinced.
Yeah, you told me this one.
But they were like, hey, did you know that OnlyFans is like a really great platform for athletes trying to share their content and gain followers for all of your athletics? And I was like,
You're men.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, and they were
athletic.
serious. I think I don't know what was going on with their marketing campaigns at the time where they were like, we need to just not be a porn company. We need to figure out a way to get other legs in here. And I was like, no, I'm good.
But I feel like there's just too much behind the name itself. I know plenty of people that have an OnlyFans. It doesn't bother me. Man, it's
Me
their life.
either.
But it's more about if I had an OnlyFans, and I've had people ask me about like thirst trap pages, right? Everybody knows what a thirst trap page is.
Yep.
And I could never because I'm not serious enough. Like I would do an OnlyFans, but I would walk out in like a Grinch costume that's wearing like lingerie, and I'd be like, oh, like I couldn't like just.
Yeah, me
Just-
either. It's not
Well-
not me, it's not for me, but no shame to anyone else. But I was just like, this is a very strange way to try to get me to make an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not telling you what to do, Allison, but I'm just saying if you created one, sexy Michael Jackson. That's all I'm telling you to go with. I think that's the way to go if you're going to do it.
People ask me to dress up with him for Halloween, and I'm contemplating it. I'm
You
gonna
should do
embrace
it.
it. I'm gonna send you the photo, and when you see it, you're gonna be like, it's crazy.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
Oh man.
That's so
We
wild.
covered a lot of topics tonight, my friends.
We did.
We
like art.
spanned the gamut.
We covered quite a few. I appreciate it. It's been fun, Allison. I'm glad you joined us.
Yeah.
This
We
has
learned
been
a lot
fun.
tonight. We learned a lot tonight. I want to do more of these. I want to have just like we get a lot of athletes on, and that's fun. It's super fun. I mean, I'm appreciative of anyone that comes on. Don't get me wrong. Like I love talking to anybody, but I do love just like shooting the shit. That's the most fun for me for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a lot less stress too. Although Nikki's the real pro. She asks all the real questions. I'm just kind of
Yeah,
along
you
for the
asked
ride.
hard hitting questions. Although I feel like Nikki had a little bit of fun tonight, just sort of letting loose about her freaky side of the interwebs.
I'm out here Googling PP plushies and they're fucking adorable.
I know.
I
I'm
think-
really
them.
them as soon as we're done and be like, all right, I'm reconsidering.
I kind of want to sell them now. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest, it's, Man.
Free Christmas presents, like stockings.
They make slippers. You can stick your foot right in them. They come in different colors. Just saying.
I think we all know what we need to do after this. Are you guys going to the Rogue Invitational?
I am
It's
not.
not. It's not on my list for now. No.
No, did you haven't found anyone that can go with you? I know you.
Yes, I have a couple. It's not, and that's the thing is like it's not. There's a ton of people that want to go. It's just cost wise.
Have you been to any events since your page blew up?
No, and that's why because everybody gave me shit for not being at the games. Everybody. And even Barbell Voodoo was like, hey, you guys, you can come tag along with us. But I ended up having a work obligation I could not get out of. So that's kind of why I want to go because obviously it's cool, but I want to sort of meet a lot of the people that I engage with and talk with and have a good time.
So
But
here's my warning.
It's not in the cards for a good bit of people.
So here's my best advice for you because Rogue is like kind of a small, tight environment, and it's great. It's one of the best events out there. They do a really nice job. If you've never been to one of these things, you're gonna take a lot of pictures with people. You're gonna see a lot of people that know you, and it's gonna be freaking exhausting for you having ADHD. By the end of the day, you're gonna be fried. So you need to carve out time, like put on your calendar some alone time, or you are gonna hate your weekend.
Well,
Just
that's
trust
why
me
I
on it.
was trying to find a group of girls to go with to take some of the pressure. So I would never go by myself. I have too much social anxiety because this was enough to shake me out of my comfort zone. I've been asked to be on podcasts and I'm like, nope. I've been asked to go live on Instagram and nope. Because in real life, I'm just genuinely super awkward and I just know I'm gonna say the wrong thing. But with other people that can sort of like power up with each other. When I went to Dragon Con, if you are a nerd, you know what that is.
Yes. Yeah, I think my kid was there actually.
And it was in Atlanta, and it's like everybody who's anybody shows up, and it's all. And I was there 8 hours and crashed. And when I tell you crashed, I physically lost control of my brain. Like I could not function. Like I had to just leave because it was so hard. So yes, I have a system, a routine and plan when I travel to make sure that I have a safe space that I can go and just literally just take a 15-minute nap. I just close my eyes and just.
It wears me out every time I go to an event. I am incredibly appreciative of anyone I meet. That wants to meet me. Like to this day, I can never wrap my brain around someone like wanting. I make the joke all the time that 10 years from now, someone's gonna look at their phone and be like, "Who is this old MFer that I'm taking a photo with? Like, what? I'm not with this old bald white guy." But so I'm so appreciative, but it burns me out after enough. So like at the end of the day, I need the same thing. I need like a power nap or some quiet time to regenerate, and then I'm good.
I watch a lot of ASMR videos. Like I'm very specific about the type of ASMR I watch. I don't know if you guys have ever seen or know what that is, but
I like the soap ones.
Yes,
soap cutting.
Really cool. But I like and I've recently started watching YouTube videos, bushwhacking, camping in the rain. And it's like single campers are setting up their campsite in the rain. And that's all you hear. There's no background music. There's no talking. And I can't explain it. It's like the most calming thing I've ever seen. So I like do stuff like that throughout the day too to kind of help. Like,
Yeah.
once I'm done, I'm done. Like I'm out. Don't talk to me. I'll probably say something that's gonna make you cry, not on purpose, but just
Well,
I can't relate.
it's so bad. It
that's
sucks
why
so
It's
much.
so
that's why you're a good co-host for me,
Yeah.
Nikki. That's
yeah, it's
exactly why we get
perfect.
along so well because we're
I like
polar opposites.
yeah, and I like thrive in those environments. I'm like, the more people, the better. The more folks I can chat with, the more like it really. I think it energizes me more than drains me.
Mhm.
So that is really interesting. I do think that's what makes such a good
Yeah,
pair.
yeah. We're absolutely complete opposites in that regard, and I love that. That's one of the things I love about
Mhm.
you. I need people in my life that are that way, and I need someone in my life that will yell at the waiter when the food's wrong. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
that's
I'm
me.
not gonna do it. I'm just gonna sit there and eat my shitty food.
No,
That's the way it's gonna be.
Yep.
no. Excuse me. He can't eat this. This isn't what he ordered.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Got you. I got you.
That's the way it works. Well, Allison, thank you for joining. Super fun.
Yes, it was so
Yeah.
fun.
We never even mentioned your page name. So before we go, where can everyone find you?
So Instagram and TikTok, it's Allie ALLI underscore lifting underscore 86. Or Allie loves lifting. I don't even know my own name. Look, it's so late. It's Allie underscore loves underscore lifting 86 on both platforms.
Perfect. I'll put it in the show notes so people can easily find you and have fun at Rogue. You're gonna love it. I want to hear all about it when you get back.
Absolutely will do.
Lots of photos. Nikki, hope your kid is better
Yeah, me too.
from having.
Tomorrow is a new day.
He'll be fine. He'll wake up. He'll be like a different kid.
I
Guaranteed.
know. I know.
Guaranteed. All right. Well, for everyone listening, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight, and we'll chat with you guys soon.